And we hear from Diana's sister, but she and others in the family are commemorating her death, speaking candidly about their grief from 20 years ago.
These 2 hours, the presenters on every news channel were saying injured but expected to make a full recovery, and I have no idea why, but it made me so angry.
For decades, Princess Diana's sister, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, carried a heavy burden. Doubts, what-ifs, and the terrifying possibility that Diana's death was far more sinister than anyone knew.
We have reports from Paris that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident.
Now, at 60, Lady Sarah has stepped forward with a grilling revelation that has left the world reeling.
In the new BBC documentary, Diana, 7 Days, Lady Sarah agonizing over one fateful question.
She was religious in putting on her seatbelt. Why didn't she put it on that night? I'll never know.
Fighting back tears, Diana's own sister confirms the rumors that have haunted the royal family for decades. It turns out she knew it all along. Join us as we unravel these terrifying truths and prepare for what might soon become a public reckoning. The night the world stopped, Diana's tragic end. In the early hours of August 31st, 1997, the world shattered. Princess Diana, traveling through Paris with Dodi Fayed, crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel while pursued by paparazzi. Diana, Dodi, and their driver, Henri Paul, all perished. Despite frantic efforts, Diana succumbed to her injuries that morning. The news ripped across the globe, igniting a wave of sorrow and disbelief. Millions mourned the sudden loss of a woman whose warmth, compassion, and tireless advocacy had touched countless lives. From raising awareness for HIV/AIDS to campaigning against landmines, Diana was beloved, and her death felt deeply personal. In Britain, grief was palpable. Kensington Palace became a sea of flowers and heartfelt messages. For her family, including her sister Lady Sarah McCorquodale, the aftermath was a blur of private agony and immense public responsibility. Sarah, along with her siblings, immediately stepped in to support Diana's sons, Princes William and Harry, then just 15 and 12. Amidst the overwhelming sorrow, Sarah became a vital source of stability and comfort. She played a crucial role in organizing Diana's funeral, working tirelessly with royal and government officials to craft a ceremony befitting her sister's legacy. Privately mourning, Sarah carried herself with quiet strength, determined to honor Diana's memory and shield her grieving nephews. As the world watched on September 6, 1997, millions witnessed the somber procession. Sarah stood alongside the Spencer and royal families, a pillar of grief and unwavering dedication. But even then, in the heart of their mourning, a seed of doubt was planted. What followed Diana's death? And when did Sarah finally come forward with the truth? Sarah breaks her silence. The seatbelt mystery. In the years that followed, Sarah took on the sacred responsibility of preserving Diana's legacy. As an executor of her sister's will, she meticulously handled Diana's personal items and confidential materials, ensuring her wishes were honored, particularly for William and Harry. This duty reflected not just her love for Diana, but a profound commitment to protecting the memory of one of history's most beloved figures. Yet, beyond these formal duties, Sarah harbored a deep, lasting sadness. Haunted by unanswered questions, perhaps the most unsettling, why was Diana, a woman famously meticulous about safety, not wearing a seatbelt the night of the crash? According to Royal Central, Sarah has spoken openly about her doubts. She emphasized Diana's almost religious habit of buckling up, even for the shortest journeys. That the tragedy unfolded despite Diana's usual caution remains a source of enduring pain and confusion for Sarah. For Sarah, the absence of a seatbelt isn't a minor detail. It's a glaring inconsistency, fueling her sense that something about that night doesn't add up. None of the passengers, Diana, Dodi, or driver Henri Paul, were buckled. Only bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones, who survived, had his on. This lack of precaution, combined with Diana's known carefulness, reportedly contributed to the fatalities, a fact that leaves Sarah with lingering grief and haunting questions. The confusion deepened in the hours after the crash. The Spencer family faced agonizingly contradictory news reports. Broadcasters initially claimed Diana was injured but expected to recover, even as the family knew the devastating truth. she had passed away. Sarah recalls the intense anger and frustration of those 2 long hours, as false reports painfully clashed with their devastating reality. This chasm between public reporting and the horrific truth solidified Sarah's belief that aspects of that night remain hidden, fueling her ongoing doubts. How has Sarah navigated these suspicions while preserving Diana's legacy? Preserving a princess, Sarah's unwavering loyalty. Lady Sarah McCorquodale has remained a vital guardian of Diana's memory. She speaks publicly about her sister's kindness, compassion, and profound impact, participating in events and charities dear to Diana's heart. This commitment ensures that the world remembers not only the tragedy, but the joy, love, and warmth Diana brought. That Sarah's influence extends to the younger royals, particularly William and Harry. Both princes speak often about their mother's enduring importance in shaping their values. Sarah's connection reinforces Diana's teachings of compassion, service, and authenticity. In many ways, Sarah acts as a bridge between Diana's past and present, ensuring her spirit lives on through her children. Public fascination with Diana remains undimmed, and Sarah's insights keep that connection alive. Each shared memory reminds people of Diana's profound impact, not just as a royal, but as a deeply human, caring figure. This enduring interest reflects a deep connection to Diana's values, including her advocacy for mental health and charitable causes. Lady Sarah McCorquodale's journey is a testament to her bond with Diana and the lasting influence of Diana's life. From unwavering support during difficult times to preserving her memory, Sarah has ensured that Diana's spirit continues to inspire. Love, loyalty, and compassion remain at the heart of their connection, an enduring legacy of the people's princess. But who is Sarah, and how did her life become so intertwined with Diana's from the very beginning? Lady Sarah McCorquodale, a life entwined with royalty-born Lady Elizabeth Sarah Lavinia Spencer. Diana's older sister was the first daughter of John Spencer, the 8th Earl Spencer, and Frances Shandkid. Her title carried generations of history and privilege. From birth, Sarah belonged to a world of tradition, responsibility, and expectation. She grew up surrounded by luxury and legacy. First at Park House on the Royal Sandringham estate, then at the magnificent Althorpe House, the Spencer family's ancestral home since 1508. Park House offered Sarah and her siblings a childhood in close proximity to the royals themselves. This early link to the monarchy profoundly influenced her younger sister, Diana, who would one day become a princess and captivate the world. Sarah's education reflected her aristocratic upbringing. She attended Riddlesworth Hall School, a boarding school for privileged families, receiving a balanced education in academics, etiquette, and social customs. Later, at Westheath Boarding School, she honed her intellect and built lifelong friendships, learning to navigate the pressures of privilege and prepare for life in Britain's upper echelons. Her childhood, steeped in status, carried its own quiet challenges: the weight of tradition, society's watchful eyes, and the constant reminder that being a Spencer was both an honor and a duty. The beginning of drama. Charles, Sarah, and Diana. Growing up, Sarah was always under scrutiny, expected to uphold the Spencer legacy of wealth, influence, and a close relationship with the monarchy. This upbringing gave her a distinct view of the world, understanding the unspoken rules of Britain's elite, the decorum, and the constant pressure for grace under scrutiny. She observed royal traditions firsthand, learning how the monarchy operated long before most could imagine such access. This foundation would soon prove pivotal. Sarah's early link to royalty was about to become personal when she crossed paths with Prince Charles. In 1977, Lady Sarah McCorquodale met the Prince of Wales at Royal Ascot. Charles, Britain's most sought-after bachelor, was immediately drawn to her charm, intelligence, and noble background. They began seeing each other, and whispers quickly spread. Lady Sarah Spencer might become Queen of England. For a while, it seemed entirely possible. Their chemistry and mutual respect were evident. She appeared the perfect match, elegant, educated, accustomed to public life. But in 1978, everything changed. What ended the romance wasn't a scandal, but Sarah's honesty. During a casual conversation with journalists, she candidly admitted she wasn't truly in love with Charles. She even mentioned personal struggles, and that if she married him, she would still live by her own values. Her refreshing honesty, though innocent, clashed with royal expectations of privacy and restraint. When Charles learned what she'd said, the relationship ended swiftly. Sarah's independence, while admirable, didn't fit the crown's carefully managed image. Their romance faded, closing the door on Sarah becoming queen. Yet, fate had other plans. Another Spencer, her younger sister Diana, was about to step into the very world Sarah had walked away from. Sarah's brief romance with Charles had quietly set the stage for what came next. After their breakup, Charles's attention turned to Sarah's younger sister, Diana. Her youth, warmth, and effortless grace soon caught his eye. Diana first met Prince Charles through Sarah, while Sarah was still dating the prince. She introduced him to her shy teenage sister. Diana was just 16, bright-eyed and soft-spoken, more interested in her studies than royal life. Yet, something about her, a sweetness and sincerity, stood out even in that brief encounter. How did this brief meeting blossom into one of the most unforgettable romances in British history? Becoming Princess Diana, the fairy tale begins at first. Charles saw her simply as Sarah's younger sister. But after his relationship with Sarah ended, his connection with Diana grew. Over the next few years, their paths crossed more often, and Charles was drawn to her fresh innocence and genuine charm. A breath of fresh air amid royal formalities, BY 1980, the public noticed. The press followed their every appearance, fascinated by the quiet, blushing 19-year-old who seemed to have captured the future king's heart. With her noble background, beauty, and poise, Diana appeared the perfect choice for the monarchy's next chapter. Their romance blossomed quickly, and in February 1981, the world watched in awe as Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer announced their engagement. When the news broke, it sent waves of excitement across Britain. Diana was hailed as a real-life fairy tale princess. On July 29, 1981, Diana and Charles wed in a ceremony lifted straight from a storybook. Held at St. Paul's Cathedral, it was a spectacle of grandeur, with 3,500 guests and over 750 million watching globally. Diana's silk taffeta gown, with its 25-foot train, made her a vision of grace. The public celebrated with delight. For a time, it seemed their marriage would bring happiness and renewed strength to the monarchy. Diana embraced her role as Princess of Wales, winning hearts worldwide through her compassion and genuine interest in ordinary people. Charles seemed committed to guiding her through royal responsibilities. Yet, behind the polished smiles, subtle signs of tension already existed. Few could imagine the private struggles Diana faced as she navigated life as not just a wife, but a global icon under unrelenting scrutiny. What were these challenges? Princess Diana's marital challenges. A crown of thorns. One of the earliest and most persistent challenges was Charles's ongoing connection with Camilla Parker Bowles. While the world reveled in the fairy tale, cracks formed behind the scenes, growing over time, testing Diana's resilience. Charles and Camilla's relationship dated back to the early 1970s. Long before Diana, they shared a deep bond. Even after marrying others, their friendship endured, evolving into something more. Rumors of an affair began to circulate, placing enormous strain on his young marriage to Diana. Diana reportedly became aware of Charles's connection with Camilla as early as their engagement. Despite her sincere efforts, she couldn't ignore Camilla's presence. For Diana, the experience was profoundly painful. She later spoke openly about feeling like an outsider, describing it as crowded. The royal family's emphasis on privacy meant personal struggles were expected to remain hidden. But as Diana's emotional pain grew, so did the distance between her and Charles. And the rumors of infidelity began to threaten the monarchy's carefully maintained public image. The monarchy, a symbol of stability, was rocked by the notion of an affair involving the heir. But it was the visible toll on Diana that truly drew attention. She struggled with her mental health, wrestling with isolation, insecurity, and a lack of support. The strain became increasingly evident in public appearances. The fairy tale image began to fade. The relentless media transformed their personal struggles into a very public spectacle, revealing that all was not as perfect as it appeared. Reports of unhappiness continued. Public sympathy for Diana swelled, and the royal family faced unprecedented scrutiny. Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla played a pivotal role in the unraveling of his marriage, leading to something irreparable. What was that? Diana and Charles' separation. The unraveling after years of tension, trust issues, and emotional turmoil. Diana and Charles officially separated in 1992. The decision came after immense heartbreak and relentless media attention. Diana spoke candidly in interviews about feeling lonely and hurt because of Charles's involvement with Camilla. The media amplified every detail, turning a difficult situation into a public spectacle. Finally, in 1996, after 4 years apart, the divorce was finalized. Diana received a significant financial settlement, but lost the title of Her Royal Highness, a major shift. Freed from the constraints of royal marriage, she focused on her charitable work, carving out her own identity outside the palace. Throughout it all, Lady Sarah remained a constant in Diana's life. As her older sister, Sarah was more than family. She was a confidant, a steady source of support, and a trusted ally. Their bond was unwavering. During the most turbulent periods of Diana's marriage, she often turned to Sarah for advice, comfort, and encouragement. Sarah became one of Diana's closest and most reliable sources of guidance. Sarah's support extended beyond private moments. She took on a formal role as Diana's lady-in-waiting. This position involved accompanying Diana to official engagements, helping her navigate royal protocols, and offering guidance on her public duties. Sarah fulfilled it with care, dedication, and deep understanding, providing reassurance as Diana became one of the world's most photographed figures. Sarah's support extended to official duties, including the significant 1993 visit to Nepal. During the trip, Sarah helped Diana manage public expectations and ceremonial responsibilities. These appearances required connecting with people, representing the monarchy, and projecting grace under scrutiny. Sarah's calm presence and knowledge of royal protocol helped Diana stay focused, composed, and confident. Her steadfast presence reinforced Diana's sense of belonging and purpose. Though Diana's journey was marked by challenges, she had a support network, including her sister, who helped her find strength and resilience. But as Diana's public life grew more complex, could this unwavering support withstand the increasing pressures of fame, scrutiny, and the burdens of royal life? Princess Diana's enduring legacy. The people's princess, Princess Diana, remains one of the most beloved and iconic figures in royal history. Even decades after her passing, her influence shapes younger generations of royals and inspires people worldwide. From her engagement to Prince Charles, Diana commanded global attention. Often called the world's most photographed woman, what set Diana apart wasn't just her beauty or title, but her compassion, charisma, and genuine ability to connect with people. She had effortless grace and natural warmth. Her humanitarian work, visiting hospitals, championing HIV/AIDS awareness, fighting landmines, made her more than a princess. She became a symbol of empathy and hope. Those who worked with her, like Private Secretary Patrick Jeffson, described her as organized, hardworking, and demanding, but deeply fair. Writer Tina Brown noted Charles struggled with her extraordinary popularity. Diana's mother remembered her as loving but sometimes fiery, driven by emotion. Above all, she was a devoted mother. Princes William and Harry have both spoken about how their mother's compassion and independence shaped who they are today. Though shy early on, she was intelligent, witty, and emotionally intuitive. Writer Monica Ollie observed that while not formally educated, Diana had the emotional intelligence to handle royal pressures and transform them into a platform for change. By speaking openly about her struggles with bulimia and mental health, Diana broke royal taboos and helped shift global conversations about vulnerability and self-worth. According to Tina Brown, she possessed passive power, the ability to captivate and influence through presence and empathy. Much like the Queen Mother, Diana's compassion was her signature. She comforted the sick, hugged the marginalized, and brought humanity to distant institutions. Her informality made her approachable. She disliked ceremony, once asking friends not to stand when she entered a room. Through her warmth and activism, she redefined what it meant to be royal, making charity work personal and hands-on. What do you think about Princess Diana's sister's tearful revelations? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe.